Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Road Jedi 88. We are getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mods. Jyn Erso. Okay, so I'm going to catch a little break here, because this is a Disney Star Wars, and I have been probably made myself well known to, with my opinions, to rip into Disney Star Wars films. Not going to happen this time. This time is going to be a compliment. A rare one. Jyn Erso is seen in Rogue One. Now, while there is no backstory about the specific story of Rogue One, there are a lot of post-Return of the Jedi books with backstories, giving a little shred suggestions and just sliver clues of what all took place in obtaining the plans to the first Death Star. There are a lot of backstories that kind of circle around Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, some of the other lead figures of the Rebel Alliance that were predating A New Hope and their involvement and such. And so a lot of the events, even in A New Hope, even though Jyn Erso has nothing to do with Andor, specifically the TV series Andor, Grandma Tarkin even makes mention about the or he kind of suggests about the Senate dissolving in an incident that took place in a city somewhere, cluing in later on now as we know it as Gorman Massacre. Even in George Lucas's writing, there were hits of these events, kind of just giving a little clues and bits and pieces, but it wasn't like a set direct story. So, but there was plenty of backstories to work with that Disney was able to work around. And this is what they should be doing with almost any other story that they do. They really should be. I mean, that's an approach they should be doing. Working with the stories that are already there and working around those, keeping those stories in place. Or just, take some of the books that are highly respected by the George Lucas fan era generations and doing films off of some of those, because there are a lot of good literature from George Lucas's era that did not need to be ignored or duct taped over. Jyn Erso with Rogue One. Rogue One was a beautiful masterpiece. For being a story that didn't actually have a direct, specific story already written, the backstories that did exist, and them working around with it, including them to create this story. Now, that was what was so amazing, and I think it drew in both generations, both the Disney and the George Lucas era generation, because of elements like that. Not just only the graphic effects, not just but the storytelling and the respect of the older generation, what they were gonna know of it. And that may not be the forefront of their minds, but it is what kind of happened. It's one of many things that made this successful. It's just it's a fraction of what included I can't get the word out. Success. Jyn Erso is an attacker character. So, it was her dad who supposedly helped with the building of the Death Star, particularly the weaponry aspect of it. And he created a flaw so that it could be self-destructed, a chain reaction that once it got hit, it would just kind of fall apart on itself, essentially, from the inside. and they needed her connections to certain people to get the plans, and then get the plans to the rebels so that they can make use of it, which goes into A New Hope. So yeah, if you watch A New Hope, then you watch Rogue One. It brings kind of a new perspective. Then you get to Andor, and then rewatch Rogue One, rewatch A New Hope. It changes perspective again. And Shadows of the Empire would do the same thing for Return of the Jedi. It really would. Now that's a specific story that would help save Disney generations a lot of headaches, or asking repeatedly the same questions over and over about certain things in Return of the Jedi. Shadows of the Empire, which saved them a world of hurt on that one. Like, no joke. Not saying it's been a hurt, but it would lend perspective, just the way Andor and Rogue One have done for A New Hope. So, if you go back to my first video in my mods playlist, I definitively define the various different types of character roles, like attackers. I also break down the various different types of mods and their purpose, and what it is they are doing when we apply them to each certain types of characters. Here, they recommend speed and tenacity for this attacker character, which is not a bad suggestion. Tenacity just simply means not easily torn apart. Speed would allow this attacker to move even quicker than what she probably already does. It would make her very effective in fighting. Online, the online website, swgoh.gg, the fan statistical preference suggests speed and critical chance. So it's kind of up to you. Honestly, both are just as good. It depends on how the feel of the wheel when you test drive her out in a battle. How does it feel for you? It could be that kind of situation. With critical chance, you're basically just increasing the odds that when she attacks, she's gonna hurt them hard. So you're doubling up her attacker's ability with this. With the tenacity, you're kind of giving her a tank-like protection with her attacks. So that's Jyn Erso's mods. For Star Wars guys who are here, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.